Hi, this is Ruth Theresa with One Inspiring Woman, and today we're talking about kids with abilities and their imaginary friends. So, I will tell you that because I was a kid, and probably because you were a kid, you probably had an imaginary friend. And it's always great to have an imaginary friend because it's kind of like your imagination, your mind is growing, your mind is developing and able to imagine things that aren't actually there, which is a really good thing for your brain development. At the same time, we do have kids that have psychic abilities, and some of them are born this way. They're just born with this amazing psychic ability to see and interact with angels and ghosts almost at birth. And that's kind of the crazy fun thing about this is um, you can tell by the way your child is playing with that imaginary friend or talking to that imaginary friend, the way they communicate, the way they talk to them. It's one of those, I have dealt with this many, many times, not only for myself, but with clients as well. So I had a client not too long ago and brought her daughter in, and she goes, I think she's talking to my dad, but I'm not 100% sure. And so we just started kind of asking her things that he would know, kind of like, can you ask him that's this. Can you ask him that? And she was able to kind of, I would say, probably 98% accurate with the information that came through from her grandfather. And it was really, really fun and interesting to kind of help this little girl and her mom work through this. Now, one of the things that was really interesting during this, mom was so excited that she started to cry, kind of excited, cry, just like overwhelmed with, energy that her, grandfather was still there, that sort of thing. But the child, on the other hand, was seeing it as maybe I'm doing something wrong or I'm doing something that I shouldn't be doing. I'm making mom upset. And that's where I got to be able to kind of step in and help the child understand that mom was just excited. Mom was so happy that you were talking to grandpa. Mom was so happy that you were able to communicate that she just couldn't hold it anymore. And so she was crying out of excitement and love. And it actually helped that child understand that it was okay. It was okay for mom to cry, and it was okay for her to have these emotions and to have this connection on the other side. And I think that's one of the fun parts about being able to assist my clients and sometimes my little bitty clients to know that talking to imaginary friends that are ghosts or angels is completely normal and it's actually fun. So we had a great time communicating back and forth with her grandfather and just kind of validating her messages. This little girl who was 6 years old, validating her messages, validating her response to her grandfather. That was really, really great. And I was so happy to be a part of that. But she's not the only one. This happens so many times. And a lot of times, if the parents can't see the imaginary friend. They can't see the ghost. They can't see whatever. They kind of discount it, and you really shouldn't. It's kind of honoring what that child's gifts are, because when you dishonor it when they're a child, when they're adult, they'll discount it. They'll be like, "Oh, I'm not listening to this. My mom already told me it was bad, or I'm not really talking to ghosts, or whatever it is." And I think that's the really sad part. Is so many clients I work with now, anywhere from their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and even into their 80s, were told at some point, you're really not talking to an imaginary friend. You're really not doing this. You're really not seeing ghosts. You really don't have that information. And that's the fun, cool part when you can validate for them and go, yes, this is who you really are, and work with them to amplify and understand their abilities because they've had them there so long, but it's kind of like, let's just push that under the rug. We don't want that to come up. We don't want that information to come forward because a lot of times, just like my client in my office, we get emotional, we get upset, and a lot of times, like, people are like, I don't know where to put this, I don't know where to put that information. And so now that we know better, we can definitely do better. So let's pull a couple of angel cards, upside down, a couple of angel cards, and get us a little bit more information about imaginary friends. So let's see what we've got. This one is popping forward first, and it's answered prayers. So many times I have people ask me, all I want is a validation that my dad is still with me, or a validation that my grandmother is still with me, whatever it is. And I think that's the cool part in having their child have an imaginary friend, that is that their person. Their imaginary friend is their grandfather, or their imaginary friend is their um, aunt, or somebody else that's passed in the family. That's the really cool part. And that's a great way to validate not only the child's gifts, but that they're still there as well. So it's kind of like a great way. Study. When you study your kids' imaginary friends and ask probing questions, and what does he look like? What does he say about this? What was his name? Um, you know, that sort of thing. It kind of gives the child a chance to kind of be a medium and learn how to give that information to other people. And that's really cool for the parents as well, because they can validate that a lot of times with other family members or things that they know themselves. So that's the cool part. But it's great for the child as well to know that their imaginary friends are really, truly loved ones that are around them. My next one that's literally popping forward is friendship. When we have people that validate us, when we do that, a lot of times we make a friendship bond with them in a way that we wouldn't normally do. Because we were able to do that in my office, we were all be able to make friends and kind of like communicate on a different level, and all kind of have like our own way of communication with ourselves. And that was really cool, not only for the child, for the mom, but for myself as well, because as I was a child, I never shared my gifts and abilities, but I was always afraid if I did that they would discount them, that they would not understand them. And I didn't really know how to put them into words either. And so this was a great way for us three to all work together and kind of get all of that information and all of that knowledge, not only to the mom, but to the child as well. And that's the great part, is kind of supporting people as they work through their own abilities, as they work through what's coming up for them. So that's the fun part of life. I thank you so much for joining me today, and I know that we'll be talking again soon.